So to determine the victim is unconscious or conscious, we have to apply, or shocked. We do that by applying the ABC in the open air. I think Boatin asked us about that, and we have explained already. And check whether the casualty is breathing by look and listen and feel, which in the video I will show you how to do that. And C is the circulations, which I've already explained in the previous slides. Check whether the casualty, there is a sign of circulation or non-circulation. We have to check that. This step-by-step initial assessment should not be changed. It's a max ABC principle that we have to comply with. It takes less than a minute to comply with this process. So please bear in mind, it's very important. One, this question might appear in your quiz. Airway open, breathing, and circulation. It's very important that you take note of it. In the assessment sequences components that I want you to pay attention to. If victim is responsive, one, ask them what injury or difficulty they are experiencing. Two, check and provide first aid. Check and provide the first aid to the casualty, as well as others that may be involved. If the victim is responsive, if he's unconscious or unconscious, please, there are processes that we need to comply with, principles that we need to comply with. Observe for obvious signs of injury or illness. Check from the head, toe, which in the video I will explain how to check on that, how to check the head and the toe. Provide first aid, CPR for injury and illness observed. When you're approaching a casualty, there are command of voice, things that you need to say. Like, for example, you shout his name to check his responsive. So sometimes we touch the casualty shoulder once it's laying down, like Kweku, Kweku, just to check whether Kweku will respond. If Kweku responds, it means Kweku is conscious. If he's not responding, it means he's unconscious. Then it means we have to take the initial steps to start our CPR. And again, P is responsive with pain. Some will respond, but with the pain. So sometimes you can pinch them to check whether they are responding with the pain, or make noise to check whether they are responding, or at the back hand, you can tap there to check whether the person is unconscious or conscious. If it's unresponsive, there is no response at all, then that's where you apply your CPR. 28 slide, that is 29. It continues with whether the person have fainted or whether it's imbalance that caused the injury, or is it a shock? Is it heart attack? Is it stroke? Is it head injury, which I've already spoke about? Or is it asthma? Because sometimes an athlete might have an asthma, but because we don't pay attention much details into that, so sometimes it calls them during the game, and then we end up giving them water. So we always have to take note of this. So, but with these slides, I will not go details about treating asthma in sports, treating seizure in sports. I will not go details into that. We're just giving you an overview of how to answer some questions. So not to go much details, but the main course will give you more information about that. So with a primary survey, I think Boatin asked us that question, what do you do? Clearing the airways, how do you apply it? This is exactly how you apply it. On the slides that you are using on your learning management system, underneath, that is below the slides, the first video there about CPR. The first video there about CPR, that is how to apply the CPR. For example, after checking the airways of the athlete and knowing the person is unconscious, that is the process that you have to apply, follow. So please, if you have the slides with you, underneath the below the slides, there is a video, the first video I'm talking about, the first video. Please click on it. I'm giving you like a minute so that you watch the video. I think is It's about 2 minutes. You can watch the video and then understand what I'm talking about. So if you don't mind, you can click it now and I give you about a minute. If you have any questions about that, you can raise your hand and then I will answer you. Thank you.
So, Ben, I guess you're done with the presentation.
All right, so let's go to the next slides then. That's the video that you've already watched. That's the how to apply CPR. Is remember, there are key important areas that you have to take note of. Likely you might have these questions in your quiz, so please pay attention to it. One, if not breathing, the casualty is not breathing normal, please, you can start your CPR with 30 chest compressing. Please remember, it's 30 chest compressing with a CPR. Two, once you do the 30 chest compressing, remember to always open the airway of the athlete or the individual or the casualty. So it's 30 chest compressing and 2 rescue breath. So 30 chest compressing and 2 rescue breath. If you watch the video explains to you what a rescue breath is and how to do it. And remember, please, when you are checking for the casualty, whether he's breathing or unconscious, is at least 10 seconds. 10 seconds check. That's where you check whether the athlete is breathing or not breathing. So the key point here is 30 chest compression, 2 rescue breath within 10 seconds. So when you are checking checking whether he's breathing, you are checking whether his chest is moving or there is a sound of breathing. That is where if you look at the image, the third image, it explains to you how to check whether the person is breathing or not breathing, or is it going to. But with coronavirus, you have to be very careful these days to ensure that you have your nose masks on when you are doing that. And the 2 rescue breath, please also remember that with this coronavirus now, the legislation has changed now when it comes to rescue breath. So you have to make sure we have a specific bag that we use that you put into, you do it mouth to mouth, but you have to put that to cover you. But now, I don't know the new rules and the new material that we are using for rescue breath. So I always suggest that you continue with your 30 chest compressing and your 30 chest compressing, and then you seek for help. When you are tired, you let somebody else come and help you. All right, moving on to slide 33. We are nearly done. So slide 33 also demonstrates, it shows you how to open the airway. The first video, it demonstrates how to do it. So pinching the athlete nose and lifting the chin to open the airway. So this is the clear process how to do it. So please bear in mind, I repeat again, it's 30 CPR, 2 rescue breath, and also in case the casualty is breathing, then you'll be thinking about how to put the casualty in a recovery position. So I'm moving on to the last but one page, which talk about recovery position. How do we put a casualty on recovery position? Please, again, I will go back to the video. Watch the last video on your learning management system. Please, on the slides that you are using in your learning management system, scroll down. The last video is titled Recovery Position Video. I think there is a small an error there. Recovery Position Video. That's the last video. Please click on it, and there is a video that demonstrates how to put a casualty, let's for example, an athlete, into a recovery position. What we've learned so far is about how to use the learning management system, which we believe everybody have familiarized themselves. If you have any issues with that, you can still contact our IT team or the WhatsApp number, or you can contact Kweku, and we'll do our possible best to assist you. And because we want to give try on the quiz. So we decided to add a brief first aid and emergency, which I'm just going to take you through it for you to understand what you need to do as a first aider, or what you need to do in terms of approaching the casualty, the survey you have to do, and the CPR, how to do CPR and how to put a casualty in a recovery position, the steps you have to take when someone is sick and all that. So I will go to the reference in case you want to follow our references that we use. You can check these books that we get our reference from and our source from. I think that is it. So thank you very much.